Hey everybody, it's Joe DeGanzik, and we're back with another Q&A episode. This is our home automation Q&A episode for March 2016, being recorded on St. Patrick's Day if you're celebrating, or maybe right now you're out with your friends doing something more exciting than recording a Q&A episode. But that's what we do here at Lighting Answers. So home automation, we're going to talk a couple questions, do some shout outs to our Patreon contributors, and probably talk about a couple other things. These episodes are a little bit longer because they're a little more conversational, a little less edited, a little less polished than some of our other whiz-bang product review episodes. So just be aware of that, but we've got the times in the description so you can skip ahead to whatever you would like to watch or listen to. So let's get right on it. A comment from... comment from Shane. Just build your own home automation system. This was probably something with one of our home automation in real life episodes. Just build your home automation system with an Arduino. It's way cheaper and easier to use. Plus, you have more capability. If people use their brain as well as their creativity, we consumers could shift technology into hyperspeed and elevate our way of living. Well, that sounds good. Now, most people don't know what an Arduino is, maybe a Raspberry Pi. They think that's like a dessert, which it is, but someone made it into a tiny little computer. Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, computers on a stick, the computing stick from Intel. These are all great solutions, but mostly they're for people who are more on the fringe of home automation system, I guess. Home automation world, I don't want to say fringe, but people who are familiar with programming, they're comfortable with it, they're comfortable with kind of having a computer that isn't perfectly just, completely easy to set up with a 1-800 number on someone to call. It's more of a specialized area, and while I applaud the idea, and it might be fun to do stuff with Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and, other ways of doing home automation, it's unfortunately more of a hill to climb for most consumers. Most consumers, unfortunately, want to go to the store. They want to go to Amazon or some other website and just say, oh, look, this home automation thing is popular. It's a starter pack. I'm going to bring it home and I'm going to plug it in and it'll just work just fine. Maybe it'll work with a few other systems. That's where we are today. Maybe in the future, we'll all be Vulcans and we'll all be super smart and super intelligent and be hacking our systems together. But I think that's unlikely, at least in the next 30 days. But that could change. So, Shane, great idea. Unfortunately, I don't know that it's going to happen anytime soon. But let's move on. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your comment. And keep watching. Keep commenting. From Joseph Garcia, good video. I think he was talking about commenting on one of our August smart lock videos. I just bought my August. I really like it. I do agree the geolocation feature is not that good. I would like it better if it was strictly Bluetooth and auto unlocked based on that. No argument from me. And we're referring to the August smart lock, which of course is behind me. And I could say a little bit more about it, but it wouldn't make sense to stay here. So why don't we take a short trip in a short amount of time right back there. And there's the August. Oh, hey, look, I'm in the wrong clothing and it's nighttime. That would be, I think, continuity problems. Anyways, this is called pre-production. Anyhow, so Joseph, I do agree with you on the issue of the geolocation, but otherwise it's a pretty darn good smart lock. So let's just go in a little bit more the geolocation thing. This is a smart lock. It replaces the inside of your deadbolt, the little thumb turn. And over the past year and a half, they've really improved it. The app, the firmware, it really works a lot better. It has a little more torque, so if your doors don't perfectly align like mine do when we hit our summer months and they kind of just, they just tend to warp a little bit, it can help in those circumstances. If your doors don't align, if your lock doesn't align with where it's actually going inside the other door or your door jamb, August is not really going to, any automated door lock is really not going to work well for you until you solve that challenge. But the auto unlock uses GPS, so it figures out, all right, have you come home into your zone, or wherever you put this, have you come into a radius area? It says, okay, that's good. It gets sort of ready to unlock the August. And then when you connect via Bluetooth, you get in range. Then it says, okay, you've gotten in range, you're getting closer, 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 and then unlock. That part works great. But it would be awesome if you didn't have to go back outside the geolocation zone by like a mile to have it reset and come back so that you can unlock automatically again. Say you're just going across the street to your neighbor's house, to your friend's house. Say you're going to another part of your property that's only 100 feet away. Why doesn't it have the ability to sense that a lot better? I think it's a Bluetooth issue. Other companies are doing, interesting things with Bluetooth or their own kind of sensing or presence technology. And so I think the Bluetooth issue is preventing them from doing that. Bluetooth may need another couple of versions before it truly gets refined, or companies like August and other smart lock manufacturers may need to start building their own protocols for sensing your presence. And we're going to see that more and more in products, and we're going to be reviewing some coming up. But I think overall at this point, minus that slight inconvenience issue of the auto unlock doesn't quite work perfectly in all scenarios. It does work very well, but it doesn't work like exactly how I would want it to work. But that's just me because I'm a perfectionist. The auto relock is also great. They've solved any issues with that, but it would be cool to disable that temporarily. Sometimes you don't want to have your door open, but you want it unlocked, and you don't have to go fiddle with the app and jumping into settings if you're just trying to get extra, packages or groceries out of your car. It would be cool if you could, do a couple quick rotations and kind of turn that feature on and off. And I think they could do it. But so there's a tip, August, if you're watching, and we'd love to review a few more of your products, but you know how to get a hold of us. They've got the HomeKit enabled version of this. They've got a keypad now for entering numbers if you want that, instead of handing out codes via your smartphone to friends and family to enable them to get access. They've got a video like doorbell type device. But overall, the original product, and that's what this is, which launched in late 2014, is pretty rock solid at this point. I haven't had the issues that I had previously. So that's the long-winded answer. I hope I answered your question. And now, well, let's go back to the couch. Well, thanks, self. That was awkward. But anyways, that's August. That's all I'm going to say about it because I've already talked about it enough. And so let's move on to our Patreon contributors. To thank these guys, a couple of these people, Patrick and Michael. Thank you so much for being Patreon contributors to Lighting Answers. What is Patreon? I'll sum it up for you. It's a way to contribute back to us if you would like to. If you think you get something out of these episodes, if you've learned something, heck, if you just feel like you would like to support us other than watching ads or on top of watching ads, you can literally contribute financially, monetarily, whatever you want to call it, $1 a month, $3 a month. Heck, if you want to send us $3,000 a month, we would be super stoked for that. But really, $1 a month, a couple bucks a month, that's what most people do. And our Patreon page is probably a link on the screen or a little info button right there, and you can jump over there and contribute. If you contribute over a certain dollar amount, like these people, over I think $3, $3 or more, we'll give you shout outs. We'll give you some information. Your name will be listed on the About page on the website as a supporter. So we'll thank you for that. And a couple other perks. You can actually even get consulting time one-on-one with me via like FaceTime, Google Hangouts, Skype, whatever. You can buy blocks of my consulting time for very reasonable prices if you have questions that I can't answer or are too difficult to answer over email or even these Q&A episodes. So lots of different perks that you can get, and it helps us. We make money from the ads. We make money from your purchases, I can't talk right now, on the Amazon store, and a couple different ways, but Patreon is a great way. And if you want to just support us via like a one-time payment, hey, I just want to give you guys $5. go to our main channel page, and on the right side there's a button that says Support Lighting Answers, and you can do just that. So, not a pledge drive, but I figured we'll mention that stuff, and if you like these kind of, if you like our content, if you want to contribute back, we'll love you forever. So, next one. This is another one that's not impossible to answer over email, but we'll do our best. And all of these questions and comments generally have already actually been answered to some extent directly back to the person, and we include them on the show as because we think they're pretty good. So this was a long one. I've got to kind of paraphrase. Hello, Joe. I just came across your YouTube channel. I've got a lot of CFL bulbs at home, which are in recessed fixtures. Got a few that are gonna go away pretty soon. Looking to go LED. Love your videos. Thank you so much. You give excellent reviews and recommendations. My question to you is, do I go with connected bulbs or individual control of each fixture? And should I go the smart home automation route, or should I get a home automation system, which is kind of a oxymoron because they're really all one and the same, but they are a little bit different, the kind of legacy style versus the smart systems like SmartThings. I don't want to have to rely on an app because he's got family members, so I agree with you on that one. Would like automated control when entering and leaving rooms. I would like to add that my wife and I are primarily Apple users, iPhone and iPad, so we get that. And then an update, an email update. He's made his decision. He doesn't want to go with smart bulbs, so he wants to go with connected inline switches. Now he's deciding, what to do. Insteon, Lutron, trying to figure out HomeKit. Is all this stuff going to work together? Well, that of course is the challenge. So again, he was trying to figure out, is he going to go with smart bulbs, something like a bunch of, Wi-Fi based or proprietary bulbs, or Bluetooth, like this is the Revigy bulb. We talked about this one a few months ago. Very simple if you just want to get into a couple smart light bulbs that do tricks and turn on and off and whatnot. Or you can go with, hardwired stuff. You can go with switches and dimmers like this one, although this one doesn't have the faceplate on it right now. This is an Insteon in-wall dimmer. And these are great, again, for having that physical touch control. The smart bulbs can be an issue if you want to have physical controls, although it's possible. And I've demoed a little bit of that. Philips does make some actual physical controls and dimmers and whatnot and switches for their smart bulbs, the Hue light bulbs. But he's gone with and said, I'm going to go down the physical route. I want to have, plug-in dimmers, in-wall switches, things like this. So there's a lot, right? There's a lot of choices. And again, he was saying, do I want something like a traditional system? Do I want something that is a newer type system? And the traditional systems are slowly fading away. I have what would sort of be a traditional system in my own home because, well, I started in the traditional era. I started in the Insteon era where there were no smart hubs for Insteon as we see them today. And then I went to a software-based system on my Mac called Indigo, which does a lot of the automation behind the scenes. But Insteon, the technology, is still driving the actual controls. It's still the same scene control and whatnot. Just Indigo acts as like a hub, a software hub, and allows me to do all kinds of tricks and cross-connected to Nest and cross-connected to geolocation services, cross-connected to Hue. Soon it'll be cross-connected to Z-Wave. So I can do all of that stuff. So now his question was Lutron, Leviton, Insteon. He's interested in HomeKit, obviously, because he's an Apple user, but we all know that HomeKit hasn't been as amazing as promised. We hoped that Apple would just roll it out. It would be perfect and it would be great. And there's a good amount of products on the market, but not everything is there. But you can take existing things, such as like Insteon offers the ability to take, even if you have a whole Insteon setup, you could get their HomeKit hub and transform all these guys nearly instantly into a HomeKit controllable setup. The challenge is Apple has such strict requirements for HomeKit that it can be a problem because certain devices they won't certify, certain things they won't allow. Cameras don't work with the new Insteon hub, and a couple other devices don't work either. But dimmers and switches and things, the traditional stuff, does work. He also mentioned smart things. Are these other systems going to work with smart things or any other kind of universal system? And smart things has been widely touted as the one that connects with the most amount of devices. But then there's the dark horse, the device that we haven't actually reviewed yet, but we are going to be getting our hands on very soon. That's the Amazon Echo. Even CNET has moved their smart home, their test home, into the Amazon world because it seems easier to control. It's not perfect by any means, but having this always-on device, being able to control multiple different types of systems, things including Insteon, SmartThings, Philips Hue, Wink, the list goes on and on and on. It has become the platform that people may not be completely moving to, but they're hoping that Amazon really gets it right, and they continue to push for additional partnerships and additional linkages and being able to control many different things. And we're hoping that way too. I mean, whoever does the best integration with the best user interface, which many of us think, well, voice is the best thing. Not always, right? Voice is the same problem with an app. You got to dig out the app. With voice, is it going to respond? The Amazon Echo is very good at listening to you, almost nearly anywhere it is in the house, within reason. But of course, if you still want physical control, you've got to get some sort of switch. That then introduces the home automation issue. If you've got a bunch of smart bulbs that can't be controlled via a switch, you're down to only an app or via Amazon. Say you've got a couple different systems all talking together. You've got, say, SmartThings. You've got Wemo. You've got Wink. You've got Philips Hue. Maybe you've got Insteon. How do you trigger these things, right? Can you use an Insteon device? Can you tap a switch or double tap it and have it trigger a whole bunch of other things? Well, we don't know if that works through Amazon, right? Amazon, the Echo may not have all these different triggers built into it. And can you actually program the Echo for its own scenes, or can you only trigger it to do other things, right? Therein lies the problem. You have a device, a magical device, the Amazon Echo, that can listen to you and say, hey, do this and do this and do this. But how far can you really take it? Well, we are getting our hands on the new Amazon Echo Dot. We'll have it shortly after it's released, and we are definitely going to be playing around with it. And we definitely have a number of devices that we can get it to talk to and see how that works. That's where it comes to how configurable, how easy it is to make it do what you want. The primary reason that I am still using a old-fashioned sort of control system on top of the other systems that I have, Insteon and the geolocation stuff and Hue and soon to be Z-Wave and the Nest, is because all these systems by themselves don't do what I want. And I need something that I can program because I have experience, because I spent the last long time being a programmer and a web developer and a database guy. I have the ability to do custom programming, and I know exactly the way I want things to work, and I'm willing to spend the time to do that. Most consumers are not, or they want some predefined scenes or settings or triggers like are available in HomeKit, potentially available in the Amazon Echo, and things, triggers you can definitely set up in something like SmartThings. The question at this point is, who's going to remain on top? Or who's going to actually get there faster, and then who will be eclipsed? We haven't even seen the offerings from Google and Nest in terms of, we have a lot of integrations on the Nest side. The thermostat can talk to all these different platforms kind of separately with maybe a couple triggers here and there, but it's not really a home automation system. Google announced last year Weave and Brillo. It was going to be the answer to Apple's HomeKit. But we have had basically almost zero announcements and almost zero news regarding whether when those products are going to be available and how things are going to happen. Google's I/O conference, we're assuming that that's the next big thing that they're going to talk about there, will be in May. We saw a couple companies talk a little bit about their offerings at CES, but nothing really huge. So Google, with the huge Android operating system that is much more embedded into many different brands of smartphones and tablets than Apple, because Apple, as much as I love them, they only make the iPad and the iPhone, and that's it. And that's the only way you can get iOS and HomeKit. So Google could be the dark horse. Amazon could be the dark horse. I've said for a while that it's still a little bit tough to tell. There's still more consolidation and contraction that needs to happen in this home automation and the Internet of Things world for us to really be able to tell. If I was to pick someone at this point as a winner potentially, I would say it's Amazon, because they're creating all these linkages and they've got the ultimate control device that you can just talk to and it's always on. People seem to love that concept. We're all familiar with it. I've said this before, the whole sci-fi thing. Computer, do this, right? That's what plenty of people want. But you still need tactile feedback devices. You still need to have switches, keypads, controllers, apps, voice control. You need, in my opinion, you need all of it. But my personal preferences for home automation and how I control things are, of course, not everyone's personal preferences. That is the ultimate, ultra long-winded answer to your question, and I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but Amazon Echo does look like a good way to tie things together at this point. SmartThings has been criticized by some, saying that they really haven't gone as far as they promised, that their app is still a little bit clunky, the new hub has some problems, and they're just not fulfilling the promise. It could be that they got bought by Samsung and they're just sitting on all that money and going on vacation. No, not really. SmartThings is still a good system, but ultimately it hasn't panned out as much as some people would have liked. So that's it. Let's see. I think we got back to it. So Jason, I hope I answered your question. Kind of a long-winded thing. If you need more advice, email me or get me on the real-time consulting option. So let's see. We talked about all that stuff with Patreon. Thank you to the contributors. We've talked about, haven't talked about on this particular one. Don't forget to enter the giveaway to win a Thing charger. It's the really cool way to not have wires everywhere, and you can just dock your phone or tablet right onto the top of it. And pretty much doesn't matter what device you have, the stuff that we're sending out is going to be compatible with Android and iOS and USB and all that good stuff. So that's running for the next month until our second anniversary. Other ways to support the show: Amazon web links. Whenever you buy through our Amazon store or our Amazon links embedded in these episodes, we get a couple cents or $1 from Amazon. So please use those links. You can buy other stuff within Amazon. I think it's a cookie that's set for a couple months. So anyway, anything that you buy other than directly through the links or the products in the links, we can also get a little bit of a commission on that. So everything adds up. Obviously, telling your friends about the show and sharing it on social media and hitting that thumbs up obviously helps, and more activity. If you have questions, you can get us at questions@lightinganswers.tv, or put in a comment or put in a YouTube message system message, which those are weird and I don't know why they still have that. But anyways, that is it for the home automation episode. We'll do a couple more of these, of course, in April and each month thereafter. And that's why we called the show Lighting Answers, because we're trying to get back to you on your questions. Lighting and home automation and a bit more. That's it. I'm Joe DeGanzik. I'll see you on an upcoming episode of a Q&A episode or some other episode right here on Lighting Answers. See you then.